working from home since March 2020, and like many of you, I have had to change my life around and figure out how to live my entire life, both personal and professional, from within my home. I've been pretty privileged in that I have space. I'm conscious of people who don't have that, but I'm also wanting to take this time to be grateful for this past year, because I'm a big believer in there's always a silver lining, and that's what I want to remind all of you watching today. One of the things that I was really privileged to have even before this pandemic hit was this setup. I use this for everything. The first thing you see on my desk or my table or my work from home space is my laptop. This is what I use for work, and it's not a fancy two-screen setup or anything like that. I don't need it for the type of work that I do. I work in an accounting firm, but I don't work in the accounting side of things. I work in administration, media, and a little bit of HR, and so this is perfect for everything that I need to do. I'm pretty happy with this setup. There's a stand of Amazon that I purchased to go with it, just so that it is at least a little higher than it would be, so that I don't have to like bend. I do often bend, but try not to. And I have my coffee next to me always. I also always have a glass next to me, and I have my bottle of water, again glass. One thing you'll notice about me is that I have a pretty minimal setup, but I do have like things here and there which look good, which add to the space, and everything that is on my table is something that is of some personal value to me, something that inspires me, something that I connect with. So if you see on my left is this, I don't even know what to call it, and I just like looking at her, and so it's nice to have something beautiful. Moving on, let's go a little further. I'm someone who can forget to drink water if it's not in front of me. So I've had times in the past when I was younger where I've had like really severe stomach pains, and the reason for the pain was I forgot to drink water. Now next to my coffee and my water is my notebook. This is something I discovered only during lockdown. I've usually used my phone for my to-dos and my reminders, but during lockdown, since I was in this space and I could plan my personal and professional life together because I was sitting here the whole day, I started using a notebook, and I've been using this ever since. I finally found a book that I am happy with. It's a blank book, completely blank, so I like that. I don't really like lines. What I do is I write the date at the top, and I use the left hand side of the page for my personal to-dos and the right hand side of my page for professional to-dos, and then I just tick and cross off as and when it's done. Then I have my iPad, which is also always next to me. I use this for two things. I use it for video calls and I use it for reading. I don't believe in purchasing things if you're not using what you already have, and this, I already had this from before, and I started using it more during lockdown. If I don't have this, or if I didn't have this, I would even use my phone. This is what I actually do when I have a Zoom call. I set up my tab here so that I have, while I am having a call, I can take my notes over here. This is a view most people have of me in my meetings. Everything is on my OneDrive, and depending on the meetings that I have, it's all segregated into different documents that I can just refer back and ensure that whatever we discuss in the meetings, whatever action points were there, those get done. Work from home has been really great for my productivity. Now I know that I don't have kids or like major family commitments at this point in my career, so I could focus on my work, but I also took a lot of well-intentioned decisions to ensure that I was productive. I ensure that I get up every day and I get ready for the day, and I sit at this desk and I schedule in things that I need to get done. I schedule conversations with colleagues, conversations with teams, and because I keep my schedule packed. I'm able to get more done in a less amount of time. My job also doesn't require me to maintain any kind of timesheets for what I'm doing, but I personally have found that whenever I seem to be getting nothing done, I have a timesheet that I maintain for myself. I put down how much time I'm taking for each task to kind of tally it up and see where exactly I'm losing time. Timesheets are one thing, making sure I follow my to-do list is another thing. Or the best thing that I found is just schedule things into the calendar, especially like meetings. If left to myself, I have the tendency of wanting everything to be perfect before we move to the next stage. If I let myself wait for that perfection, things get delayed. So what I do is, if I need to have a meeting with someone, that's the next stage, I just schedule that meeting. Immediately that puts pressure on me to make sure that whatever I'm doing is perfect, and I put in the work to get it completed. As they say, if you have 3 days to complete a task, you will take those 3 days. If you have 3 hours, you will complete it in those 3 hours. Just next to my table, I have this book shelf, and there is an extension of my table in these two shelves, and I thought I would show you what I have just so that it gives you some idea. The first thing is this frame. It's a New Yorker cover. I bought this from New York actually. Then I have this candle. I bought these when I first came into this house. I thought I would use them for storage, but I don't have much to store that I want to store outside. So most of them are empty. This one has some Post-its. What I did during work from home was, when I was overwhelmed with the amount of work that I was doing, I put down all my major projects on Post-it notes. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen my post on that. Follow me if you aren't. There was a lot of things that I had to do, both minor and major, and I think I was getting caught up in the smaller things like we all do, because they are more urgent, immediate, people keep calling you to do them. But I realized my major projects were not getting done. So I put it all on Post-it notes, and as and when I finished them, I would put this into jar. And yeah, these are all things that I completed, like major projects, since lockdown. And the last frame is again a frame. This was from Rome, I think. Yes, Rome. I like travel, and so having something that represents travel to me is very important. I also like art, and something artistic around me is also important. Below this is practical things. I have my pen case with calculator, scissors, bottle opener, highlighter. I also have another pen holder with some more fancier looking pens. To be honest, I don't use these too often. I'm always afraid of losing them. Instead, I use this kind of pen more frequently. Again, this is a lockdown find. What I realized this lockdown, when the pandemic started, was I started finding things that worked for me and then just used them. I found this in the beginning of lockdown when I was running out of pens. This is just a uni ball, I think, jet black. This is what I have next, which is a car model. If you've seen Fast and Furious, this is what Dom drives. It's a Dodge Charger. Fast and Furious is something that I have a real connection with, because that's one of the series that me and my brother used to watch. These two are prints that I purchased in Melbourne. I want anything around me to be inspiring. I want anything around me to be adding value to my life and not taking away from it. And then I have my plants, which are again new. I had a few other plants before this. Again, that's a lockdown thing. I started growing some plants. I'm not a nature person. I probably will kill these plants like I killed the other ones, but this is new. This is growing as of now, and hopefully it will grow. It leads to the last piece on my table. I consider that the end of my table, and that is a frame that I got in Burlington, Canada. It always reminds me of the places I'll go, like literally physically, but also like grow into. There's a lot more to come, and there's a lot more to expect out of life, and I am so ready for it. That was my work from home setup. I hope this gave you an idea of how I've set up my work during this pandemic and how I've tried to be as productive as I could. We had never expected that a virus such as COVID-19 would come into our lives and completely disrupt it, but I think all of us have done the best that we can during this time, and I hope that we continue to do that, and that's what this video was all about. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for spending the time with me, and I'll see you next week.